Hi, I'm Douglas Wolf, and I'm your host for our weekly show, Pinal Power Players. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m., join us here at KQCK Radio. Well, good afternoon. It's a great day in Santan Valley, as always in Santan, Arizona. Wonderful morning, 60, maybe 55 degrees this morning. It was really cool.
It was certainly hot tub weather today.
Oh, it was fantastic. And I'm here at the studios with Major Domo, Joe Carrero, and we're going to broadcast from the bunker today because we're worried about the nutcase in North Korea, sending missiles to Santan.
Nobody can tell we're under the ground, though, Douglas.
But I mean, if we were worried about the missile attack, so your bunker was at the ready.
Oh,
correct?
We're ready.
Yeah, but
let's take a walk there.
Instead, we're here at the compound with the quail and all the other and the ostriches, and we've lost a few deer, though I understand.
A few.
Yeah.
A few.
So the animal park has kind of shrunk in size.
Right.
They were eating their way out of house and home anyway.
Correct. Yeah.
You know how it is. You feed them, they stick around, they want more food. The government can't figure that one out. Anyway, I'm Douglas Wolf, your Pinal County Assessor and host for Pinal Power Players. And just a program note to start off right away. We were going to have on Jill Broussard, who's our County Superintendent of Schools. And through a little bit of scheduling mistake on my part, she can't be on till May 9th. So set your recorders to May 9th, and she'll be on then. However, we will talk about education if you have questions today. We're going to have an open day pretty much, so you can call in with your comments or questions on any topic. We'll make this an open line Thursday, and that number is 480-745-1033. If you want to talk about county government, taxes in the county, anything going around the county, you're welcome to call in. We will have a legislative update at about 1:15 from the Jordan Rose Law Group. But in the meantime, let's just talk about what's going on around the county. You probably know we've talked about on Saturday is the Lincoln Day dinner, and that's for the Republican fundraising event here in the county. And that, if you're still interested, or what did we get there, Joe?
Somebody wanted to talk about tribal tattoos.
Tribal tattoos.
You want to talk about tribal tattoos?
Well, we'll talk about anything. It's open.
You did say anything. I think that guy was harassing me.
Oh, okay.
But I want to talk about tribal tattoos.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of tribe he's in. Good for him. It's the New Zealand tribes, right? The Maori are the ones.
The Papua New Guineans.
Was it Papua New Guinea?
With the big ears.
Well, no, wasn't it the movie The Piano, where they were in New Zealand, where the guy brings the piano. Anybody remember? This is
plate in the lip.
No, not those folks. They have the swirls on their face and all that sort
of
thing.
Yeah, right.
That's the Maori tribe, I think.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, great actor in that movie. I'm trying to think of his name.
Mel Gibson.
No, it wasn't Mel Gibson.
Oh.
It was Jane. What was the woman? Was Jane?
Jane Fonda.
Yeah, right. She's playing Nancy Reagan. Did you hear this? She's going to play Nancy Reagan in an upcoming what do they call those, bioepic? Anyway, let me finish off.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. The Lincoln Day dinner is this Saturday at I think it starts at 11 o'clock in Anthem, which is on Hunt Highway just south of the Santan area, and it's the Union Square Center, and that's a couple tickets left if you want to get there and hear the sheriff and some other notable speakers. You're welcome. It's $35 for the luncheon, and it's there's door prizes. There's all kinds of stuff that we're giving away if you want to join us. And the number to call, get your pencils poised, 480-655-5364. 480-655-5364, and you'll speak to Claire Davis, and she'll take your name and number and so forth and do the required paperwork so that you can be a guest at the Lincoln Day dinner. And I'll be the MC of that event, so you will my working on my mellifluous voice here today so that I can project properly when I'm on stage on Saturday. So again, 480-745-1033. We're going to have open lines till about 15 after, and then we're going to get a legislative update from one of the folks at the Rose Law Firm, and then we'll be going the rest of the hour with your calls and your topics and stuff I want to talk about today, because I don't often get a free day, because we usually have a guest, and that's the interview format. And again, for those who are just clicking in, since we don't tune in to radio worth watching here at KQCK Live, our guest Jill Broussard will be on May 9th. She's in Washington, D.C. today, and I had a scheduling screw up with her, so I'm sorry for all those that got my email this morning and were excited about talking about Common Core and guns on campus and so on, but we will have her on within the month or next month. So April 27th, also going on around the county, is Kids Day at the YMCA. And, they're changing the name. It used to be the YMCA because of the Young Men's Christian Association, and I guess they're rebranding themselves to just going to the Y. And why are you going? Because you're going to get in shape and you're going to have happy, healthy kids. But it's kind of an interesting way to call themselves the Y. But I guess they're like, if you're famous, if you're Madonna, you just call yourself Madonna. So it's no longer YMCA. We're at the Y. Where are you? At the Y. So on the 27th from 9 to 1 is Healthy Kids Day. And if you want to join the YMCA, and see, I got my old habit there, you can go and you don't have to pay the initiation fee. And there'll be lots of booths. There's going to be rock climbing. There's going to be the dunk tank, I think. I'm not sure if they've got that set up. And if you have anyone out there who's a vendor, would like to be, there should be a couple thousand people. You can get a booth for $50, and that's it. Flat fee. If you have food to sell, if the radio station want to go there or something. Although Joe will not be. Well, I don't think. Are you going to be back from your long trip, Joe?
When?
April 27th, a Saturday.
Yes.
You will be back, okay?
I should be back.
You probably won't be, ready to go flying down to the YMCA that day. But anyway, so anyone who's interested in that, pencils again, 480-882-2242. That's 480-882-2242. And that's Kids Day at the YMCA. Tomorrow, I will be attending, and all the power players in Pinal County will be there. The Pinal Partnership at the property in Casa Grande. Now, if you've never been to this, it's kind of an interesting place. You go out. If Joe Senior's here today, he's sitting in it. Joe, have you ever been to this? I'm just looking at. No, he's shaking his head. No. It's kind of interesting. You go through Casa Grande, and then there's a bunch of an industrial park. There's the Frito-Lay plant, and there's a vitamin plant, or is it vitamin? I don't know. It's either way. And you go past it, and then there's this building, and it's the property in Casa Grande. And really great food. That's what I've always been impressed by. Every time I've gone there, the food's been just outstanding, and the breakfast starts at 7:30, and you can just pay for it at the door if you're not a member of the Pinal Partnership. But it's tomorrow we're having speaking is the mayor of Casa Grande, and I guess that's Bob Jackson, and Ed Hornia from Morena, who's the other mayor. And so if you want to find out what's going on in Casa Grande and around the county and your business, it's kind of a business government gab fest, basically, is what it's set up to be. People have asked me, what is this partnership thing? It's a way, it's kind of like a large chamber of commerce in a way, but you don't get to stand up and advertise your business. It's networking and finding out what's going on around the county. So I often go because I want to find out what other people are thinking about what we're doing in county government and so on. So 480-745-1033. If you have any questions about those things, we can also talk about those a little bit just to amplify or expand on that. So those are the things that are going on around the county that I know of. Joe, is there anything on your agenda that's going on? Oh, by the way, we got to talk about Joe's trip tomorrow, Costa Rica. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm going down to Costa Rica to get our new radio station, making sure everything's going well, getting it snapped up and started.
Now, is it in San Jose, Puerto Rico?
It's in Jaco Beach.
Jaco Beach. And is that real close to the city, or
an hour and a half from San Jose, the capital?
Okay. So you fly out 5 a.m. Can you fly direct from Phoenix to there?
Nah, I've got to stop in Denver to freeze my butt off first. They said make sure you don't bring any long pants or anything like that. And I'm flying into 10 below.
Yeah. Wow. 10 below in Denver today?
Denver's freezing right now, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. You think winter would be over, right? But I did have a friend say in Minnesota, of course, that another huge winter storm. So
I was calling some people, and I actually called a guy in Denver, a business guy I do business with. He says, sorry, no one's in today. It's a snow day. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Snow day.
Well, that's the fun of the Midwest. So when you're in Costa Rica now, we're already simulcasting. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, since we're on the internet, is that kind of... I mean, we're not over the air there, are we?
Not right now, we're not.
Okay. Is there a possibility?
Yes, there is. Absolutely. I'm working on that.
Now, do they use the same call sign things like we do here? Because we have W's or K's, I think, right?
It's slightly different. It is kind of the same, but it's slightly different. So I'll find all that kind of stuff out when I go down this time. So, but because here's the reason I'm asking about the Costa Rica thing, because theoretically, if I'm in the Soviet Union today, well, it doesn't exist anymore. If I'm in Russia,
I could log into the internet and listen to our show, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're already kind of simulcasting all over the world.
Right.
But now we're going to have a new emphasis on Costa Rica in the sense that we'll have a local presence.
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. So are there any hot prospects for advertisers down there you can tell us about, or is it all secret so far?
It's all secret.
Top secret.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Confidential and all that stuff.
Now, are you taking...
Do you have FBI clearance, though? Because I could probably...
Top secret. I'd have to kill you if I told you what I know.
Well, we'll go over later then.
All right. But I'm sure that you're taking your lovely wife, Marie.
Oh, of course.
Now, then that means that Nortons will be bereft of their karaoke stars.
Well, yeah, of the karaoke stars, but...
Is it 2 weeks you'll be gone?
We're going to be gone a couple weeks, but we've got, our employees that are working down there that are very familiar, that fill in for us when we have to do other things.
But they don't have your voices. It's the pipes that matter.
That is true.
And their broad range of singing voices. Well, anyway, that's tonight, folks, at Norton's in Queen Creek.
And we will be there tonight.
And we'll be there, and I am going to stop and make a guest appearance and sing My Way or something just to...
I'll make sure I buy you a drink tonight there.
Great.
Ice water with wedge
Can't
lemon.
talk about that on the air.
Ice water with wedge lemon.
I'm a public official. I can't talk about that. Anyway, yes, ice water. And I'll be going to, actually, the reason I'll be there tonight is I'll be in Apache Junction tonight to talk with the Tea Partiers in Apache Junction. So if you're listening there at the Feedbag Restaurant at 6:30 tonight, if you've ever been there, Joe's been there. Okay, the Feedbag's more your style. Is that... All right, I'll be there tonight to talk about property taxes with anyone who's interested, and I hope to see a bunch of people there from the AJ and Gold Canyon area. So if you have any questions about property tax, I'm going to talk about those a little bit after our guest comes on at 11:15, and you can call in at 480-745-1033. I want to talk a little bit more about some things going on around. I was just joking a little bit, but they did tell us, or at least the leader of North Korea was going to send missiles towards at least Guam, is what they were hoping this week. And
I just found out Costa Rica is still all clear.
All clear in Costa Rica. Okay,
I didn't want any, veering off missiles to hit.
Well, and they're in a very interesting situation with North Korea because they really don't know who's in charge. They know the guy who's in charge is kind of crazy, but what he's going to do next in order to stay in power will be an interesting exercise in diplomacy, and so far it's worked. But this overlays. I don't think we put down a marker when North Korea said they were going to get nuclear weapons like we did with Iran, because even though they're led by what we consider a little bit of a crazy guy, they never said definitely we're going to get them. We're going to wipe out another country. Whereas Iran has said basically, Israel can't exist no matter what under the way we see the world in the future. And so that's why we're so vigorous on Iran. But North Korea, it's not quite the same thing. And I think we're trying to get the Chinese to help us out there.
We better get calling this lawyer.
Oh, yes. Well, let's make sure. Here's the phone number, Joe, that we can call in for our Rose Law Group person. We'll get them on the phone. The other thing going on around the county is Red Rock is a real hot topic. The Red Rock Exchange Yard with the Union Pacific. If you haven't been following the story, let me bring you up to date. And before we go to our caller, Red Rock is down by Picacho Peak, and it's a huge area that we want to build a switching yard for Union Pacific Railroad. And it's a desert, basically. There's nothing out there. And the State Land Trust, which is the land is held by the State Land Department to sell it to businesses to raise money, and it's dedicated funds that goes to like education and different places in the land trust. So this has been going on now, folks, for 7 years. And we're going to get our guest on and see if they've got an update a little bit on Red Rock, and I'm going to talk.
And our guest is limited. She just said to 10 minutes, so she's going to fly.
Great. Well, this is from the Rose Law Group. This is Douglas Wolf. And who did we get with Rose Law today? Go ahead.
Hi, Assessor Wolf. It's Carolyn Overholzer.
Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for joining us on a little bit of short notice because we had a scheduling problem. We were talking a little bit about Red Rock, a little bit with Medicare expansion, and you at Rose Law Firm, are you involved in those issues or some other things that have to do with Pinal County?
Well, I've been handling zoning and development cases in Pinal County for the past decade, and I really do a lot of work in the Eloy area, so I've been focused on Red Rock pretty intently, as that development will have enormous impacts on Pinal County as a whole, but certainly most directly on Eloy.
Well, you saw the article in the paper this morning. I would imagine the editorial in the AZ Republic, which mentioned my comment about fertilizer, which I think everybody thinks is kind of funny, but I think it's accurate in terms of as a generator or catalyst for new business. Would you agree with that?
I'm sorry, as a generator...
as a generator of new business, a new business economic activity there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, without question. It would be a huge economic driver. It would bring additional industry to the region, and for Eloy, they have a very potentially vibrant rail corridor. It already has some significant tenants and some new ones that were announced in the last month, and it would just help Pinal County as being a hub of rail activity, and we certainly don't want to lose that opportunity to New Mexico.
Well, this is the thing. You read the article in the paper, and there was another one earlier this week that also talked about it, or last Sunday, I should say. And they're coming back with, well, they haven't given us a number to work with or a timetable. And I'm confused because my understanding is the state would sell the land at whatever price that they want to get for it. I can imagine they can set a price and see if UP will pay it. I don't think UP says, the Union Pacific Railroad says, well, we'll pay $10 million or we'll pay 15 cents. How does that process work as far as you know?
Right. Well, the land is appraised, and I think that they've been in this extended review process at the state, I think, trying to assess what they think the value is. And I'm not involved in the detail of that application, so I can't speak to exactly where they are in the process. But generally, that's how it goes, is there's an appraisal set, and then it's put out for auction, and they have to obtain, whatever that appraisal amount is or higher. And I think that UP has said pretty publicly that they will pay cash and that it would be above market value. So you would think that it would be a successful auction.
Yeah, and I can't see, based on, if you've ever been down there, it's next to the folks in the audience have been down next to the 10, and then there's the rail line. It's a double-track rail line. I can't see the value to a lot of other development or types. I don't think you're going to put houses there, for instance. I mean, who would be the competing usage of that spot? Is there anybody that comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, yeah, along the rail, you nailed it. It's industrial focused. It's along, and the more rail activity, the more industry it brings. Short of industry next to rail, that's certainly the most obvious use.
Yeah, and
so it's not. I mean, there are few developments that want to be on top of a double-tracked rail line that has who knows how many trains that go through there every day.
Yeah, it's just like
it's a special kind of a place.
Yeah, it's not like it's the middle of Scottsdale and everybody wants to put up hotels on it. It's either kind of a railroad switching yard, or it's going to be probably nothing.
That's right.
This is what really drives me crazy, is there's no competing interest for that land that would raise the value more than this switching yard that I know of, because it's just a piece of desert.
Well, and with the expansion that ADOT's done, widening the freeway through there, and ADOT, thankfully, is going to continue the study on the north-south freeway, which we hope will conclude by the end of this year. That will set an alignment for a future freeway all the way from the 60 up in the Apache Junction area down south to the 10, pretty much right at the doorstep of the rail yard. So if the rail yard is to come to fruition. And so, with the freeway expansion that already took place, with the future freeway corridor that's slated to go through that very area, it does seem that all signs point to industry focusing at that location, so it just bolsters the necessity for it at that location.
And that's an aspect we have not talked about, and I'm not really up to speed on it. And if you wouldn't mind elucidating it a little bit for our listeners, right now the Highway 60 freeway ends at Gull Canyon.
Right.
And then you go south on 79 to get into Florence. Now, where would, and I know it's preliminary and I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there an alignment that's been picked, or I should say a route that's been chosen for that freeway going south of Florence then?
The communities of Florence, Coolidge, and Eloy have established what they would like to see as the preferred alignment. But that is exactly what ADOT is studying right now. Is they are developing those alignments, and at the end of that study, there will be a preferred alignment that they will select. And so that's evolving, and there will be public meetings. They haven't been scheduled yet, but that should occur, later this year. So we don't know. I can't tell you what the alignment is now, but it's being developed and studied, and that's a very good thing because that's obviously necessary to do before you put the lines on the map.
Well, now, if I'm interested, I'm listening in on the computer today over the internet. Where would I go on the? Just go to the ADOT site and I can see the proposed alignments, or
if people wanted to do, I believe, a Google search of just the north. It's called by ADOT the North-South Freeway.
Okay.
That should get you there to the pages on ADOT. I apologize, I don't have the.
Yeah, but it should be on the ADOT site, I would think.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
North-South Corridor Study is what they call it.
Okay.
And you can get there through their website at azdot.gov.
Okay. So that's good information for folks if they're looking to see where they can invest maybe and look for the future freeway. Is just for the fun of it, what's your most optimistic hope on that freeway actually getting started building?
Well, I think that once they put the line on the map, and that's the necessary step before it gets funded, there will be a whole lot of people very interested in seeing that funded, because it will open development for that whole area, a whole new corridor that's already a development mecca. I mean, Pinal County has been, the fastest growing county in the country for some time, and that would just help to solidify Pinal County as not just a place where there's a whole lot of housing happening, but also a whole lot of industry.
Well,
certainly we would love to see it.
Well, that's great. I guess what you're saying is there's a process in place, and is there a period certain that says, okay, we've taken public comment, now we're gonna propose a route?
Yes.
And when
and our best guess is that could conclude by the end of this year. Then once the route is selected, it needs to be funded, and so that would be the next phase of the freeway.
And that's a federal highway, so it would be federal funds and state funds?
Yep.
Okay. Of course, the federal government doesn't have a whole lot of extra spare change right now.
No, they don't. And there's also the opportunity for public-private partnerships. You might see some creative things develop out of the need for that corridor. What
I love the argument about is when I talk to people, they say, well, there's that highway trust fund that has money in it. And I said, well, yeah, but it's an IOU because the trust funds have T-bills, I think, in them that's saying we'll pay you when we get the money.
Right. Trust us.
Yeah, trust us. So it looks like you've got, $50 billion in the trust fund, but they use that to offset the deficit spending, unfortunately. So there is real...
And that is certainly where you know a whole lot more than I do, Mr. Assessor.
Well, thank you. Well, and this does not come from my assessment background, but from working... dealing with the federal government budget issues for the last 15 years, because I just became interested and found out where all the bodies were and how they actually do things back there to cook the books. And it's pretty amazing. There's a highway trust fund, there's a airport trust fund, and there's all these funds that all they are is check marks in a ledger that says, okay, yeah, you sent the money in for that particular directed purpose, but we got to spend it right now because we have other things we have to do with it. So could be a while before we have the highway, but the alignment at least will get the impetus to get people doing it and maybe get some stuff going. And that would tie in very nicely to Red Rock and create another corridor. So we'd have the 10, the 8, and this would be, is it going to be numbered 60 or is it going to be a different number?
It'll get, if it doesn't have a number, it'll get one. I believe that those things, I don't know what dictates the numbers. It's just called the North-South Freeway for now. And that southern point, that end point, is going to be, you asked me where the alignment would occur to the north. To the south, I can tell you it's going to have to go just somewhere right along that current 87 alignment, or just just east of that. So, and east of it is most likely.
Yeah, I've been told that one of the alignment routes is just west of Florence. So that would be very interesting if that's where it came through.
Yeah, up north it's different, but where it ends, there's just only so many different ways that you can hook into that I-10 system. So it's much more focused to that Red Rock area.
So that's your main focus as part of the Rose Law Firm, is working on these issues in Pinal County, zoning and so forth?
That's correct. I represent a number of landowners in that Eloy and Coolidge and Florence corridor area.
I know you don't have a lot of time left, and I appreciate you coming on today. Eloy, did they just open up a marijuana dispensary?
I don't know about
that.
Did. I apologize.
They did. I heard, it's funny because I heard that it had gotten turned down. The next thing I do, I look in the paper, and there's a dispensary that opened up I read about.
Yeah, the one in Dudleyville got turned down, or wherever that was.
Oh, was it Dudleyville? Yeah, I guess Eloy just got one.
Right, Eloy. Okay, so that wasn't one of your clients, obviously.
Well, you'd have to talk to the lawyer in my office who handles just about all of those issues in the state, Ryan Hurley. So you want to get him on next.
He's a regular on our shows, so we'd love to talk to him too.
Well, we'll get him back on at another time. But thank you so much for your time. Apparently, you said 10 minutes, and that's what we're at. So I don't want to keep you any longer than you generously gave us. So have a great day, and that's the Rose Law Group. And I forgot your first name. I'm sorry.
Carolyn Overholtzer.
Carolyn, thank you for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you again soon. Real good.
Bye.
All right. That was Carolyn from the Rose Law Group. And so you hear there, not only does the Red Rock represent just on its own a great development site, if we did nothing else in the county with that site, we'd have 250 jobs in the business that would just come from there. Now you're talking about bringing in another freeway from the east side of the county down along the corridor, the 79 and so forth, and connecting in. So now we're talking the 8, the 10, the whatever they're going to number it, the Pinal Air Park, and the intermodal transportation, and eventually, and this is the one that they're hoping way out, is the US 11 that will go to where everybody likes to go, especially Joe Sr., Las Vegas. So instead of
Viva Las Vegas,
instead of gambling his money at Wild Horse, he can go to the big show, right, Joe? All right. Yeah. Well,
I have to tell you, I am blown away since you had brought it up, hearing that they turned down a dispensary in Dudleyville, and they opened one in Eloy. I thought the Rioses were the only ones that live in Dudleyville.
Well,
I didn't know other people lived there.
I missed the hearing on that because I was actually kind of interested to see what they were going to do with the use people, but the local folks, I guess, came out in force and said, no, we don't want it here because the site selected was where kids walked to school, was right in front of it was right on the same street or something. And
that sucks.
Well,
hey, for them, I guess.
Yeah, the local residents said, maybe it's legal, but no, we don't want it in that spot.
Maybe we want it back behind the old wood shed.
Well, wherever they wanted it. So, and they had to listen to the local constituents.
Right, absolutely.
So anyway, Red Rock is the hot issue. And by the way, if you don't, I know most of my conservative friends out there who listen in don't read the AZ Republic, Arizona Republic as a regular basis because they tend not to like the editorial page. However, they're giving us really great coverage on this Red Rock issue, trying to help us. And I think they're doing actually a very fair job. The writer of the story that I was interviewed for is Sean. I think it's pronounced Hoistage, and Sean actually quoted me accurately, which is always a wonderful thing. So, Sean, here's a shout out to you that appreciate your accuracy in the reporting that you did. And I thought it was really a well done article. And then the editorial board used that today for their editorial, talking about the whole idea of letting the land trust do its job, and that's why I wanted to get the Representative Carolyn from representing Rose Law Group to talk about this funny notion that they're supposed to put up a number and then the state's going to tell them if it's okay. I mean, it's bass backwards the way I read it. And then they said, well, then we want a planned development schedule. Well, once they sell the land, they've got their money. What do they care if Union Pacific is going to take a year or 2 years or whatever to build it? I don't understand it. So if you've got thoughts on this, we're going to go to a break here, and we'll be back in a little bit. But 480-745-1033 is our number. If you want to call in and talk about anything on your mind today, we'll take it, even tattoos. And here's our capitalistic raise money break for KQCK Live.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your way.
Are you planning on starting a new business? In this economy, as a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentris Communications at 1-877-ZENTRIS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
Engine parts aren't the only things that wear out over time. Bending or reaching can leave you feeling like an old clunker. But joint pain doesn't have to slow you down. Schedule an appointment with the orthopedic specialists at Banner Ironwood Medical Center. You might just find there's a lot more mileage to be had in your knees, shoulders, elbows, or any part of your body that feels broken down. We have the specially trained staff, state-of-the-art technology, imaging, and physical therapy to get you back on the road. They're experts at diagnosing, treating, and rehabilitating joint injuries. Just call 480-394-4480 or visit bannerhealth.com/Ironwood. Banner Ironwood Medical Center is conveniently located on Ganzel Road, just south of Combs. See what a difference just a minor tune-up or a complete overhaul can do for your joint pain today by calling 480-394-4480 and get your joints back in the fast lane again.
Got pain? Call Dr. Wayne. Chiropractic care may be your answer. Queen Creek Back Care. Located in Queen Creek on 20231 East Ocotillo Road on the backside of True Value Hardware Store. Safe, effective treatment with chiropractic and same-day appointments to speed your healing. With more than a decade of experience and hundreds of satisfied patients, Dr. Wayne Christensen will provide you the pain relief you've been searching for. Dr. Wayne is fully qualified to treat the entire family, even children. Call for an appointment today. 480-677-3900. That's 480-677-3900.
Ooh, that's a lovely little piano piece. Interesting, the piano background that you have on there, because I heard for the first time in my life, I was driving home last night from tennis, and I'd never heard Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto, okay? And you think, well...
That's my ringtone right now.
The radio is? Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
Goes about an hour and a half. Long phone call, right? The reason I bring it up is because it's supposed to be the most difficult piano piece I've ever written. Of anyone who's any good, it was Rachmaninoff, obviously, and you know how those Russians are; they do things over the top always, and it was just quite a piece. But technically, it's supposed to be the most difficult for people to do. And why did I bring that up? Because I just heard the piano thing in my little bit of ADD here, and I thought, well, I'll bring that up. So I'm going to actually sit down and listen to it again at another time. Maybe tonight when we're doing the karaoke at Nortons, because I'm sure that crowd would...
That's a perfect time.
They'd love Rachmaninoff, I'm sure. There's no doubt about it. So that's at 9 o'clock tonight, you said, right, in Queen Creek?
Just remember to have somebody come tomorrow morning to get you out of the dumpster.
Yeah, because a lot of people end up there? So it's a rough crowd.
Piano stuff, mostly.
Oh, I see. And and it's on Combs? No, is that...
It's on Ocotillo and Ellsworth.
Ocotillo and Ellsworth. Okay, there, folks.
Behind the discount beverage.
So if you want to see the man behind the mic, which is not me, but Joe and his lovely wife, Marie... the people behind the mic, I should say. This is your best chance to meet them live. Get their autograph, sign their book,
Right, and buy some of our stuff.
Yeah.
Keychains.
And did you want to throw out a kudos to Dr. Amy Fuller for helping you out with...
Yeah, that's a fantastic thing. We switched Felina over to Florence Unified, and Felina is thrilled. As a matter of fact, she made it just in time to go on a trip to Catalina.
Now, how does that work?
She made it on the A basketball team, and already in a couple of days, and she's going to Catalina.
In California?
Yeah, for for a long 3-day weekend.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Good for her. And I'm sure Major Joe will be taking care of the kids while you're gone there. Is that how?
This is after we get back.
Oh, I see. But what happens while you're gone to Costa Rica?
Yeah, he'll be here.
The big cheese,
just in case.
The head cheese will be. Okay. Anyway, 480-745-1033. Let's talk a little bit. We talked about Red Rock. April 15th is coming up, which I call the day to file your taxes, and also known as Liar's Poker, the government's way of getting people to fill in the cheat sheet. And especially if they're self-employed out there, we know how difficult it is to do it right and stay out of trouble, because there's so many different opinions on how everything should be done taxes. But, folks, if you haven't started on it, it's looming. It's next Monday is your filing period. And, of course, you can always file an extension, but you have to send any money you might owe. If you don't owe money, they don't mind if you file an extension. But if you owe money, you absolutely have to get that in before on the 15th. So that's going on coming up this week. Interesting week. I was as the assessor, I work with the county government, obviously, and we have a deadline coming up, and I want to just take a few minutes to talk about that as from property taxes in the county. The way it works in Arizona is that we send out your notice of valuation at the end of February, and that would tell you what your taxable value is for the next year, which would be 2014 coming up. So if let's say it's $100,000, and the board then will decide what your tax rate is in this summer based on their budgeting process, which is going on right now. So if you have input on the budget process for the county, for Pinal County, if you're interested in it, the hearings and all that, the public notices and all that are going on. Yesterday we had a bunch of requests, including my department, for things we wanted to do in 2014. And some of them were, basically had to be funded because, the county attorney's office is getting more aggressive and not plea bargaining as much. Well, when you don't have plea bargains, what happens is, under the law, the federal court system and so forth, you've got to provide indigent, that is, people who have no money, you have to provide them public representation. So if you don't plea bargain, you raise the costs to the county of public defender's office. So they're looking to hire. They're going to have to hire about 8 more attorneys and a couple more paralegals because these people are not going to walk. And this is just on criminal side. This is how it works. Is that part of the equation? So that's was a big issue yesterday. Is how are we going to fund this? The expansion of the court system. We're already looking at an annual deficit they're projecting maybe of $7 million because of the contract with the ICE folks on the jail system. You probably are aware we are in a contract as a county where we are losing $50,000 a week on the jail system, and ICE will not renegotiate it at this point. We're trying to renegotiate it. I shouldn't say we, but the county manager and so forth, to try to get that relieved or somehow changed so that we're not losing money every week on it. But $50,000 a week adds up pretty quick. Over the course of a year, if my math is right, that's a couple $1.5 million somewhere in there. So you've got that, we got that, and we got the fuel costs. And this board's not inclined to raise taxes, which is why they were elected, most of them. So they're looking at where are we going to find our savings, and they're doing a hard job. It's not easy what they're doing down there, folks. So would like you just be aware. And the other thing that's going on is with the I brought up the jail and the cost of fuel and all the other things that are going on. But there's one other piece that I just forgot, slipped my mind, and we have a caller. So Joe, what was the question from our caller?
Bert he says he's a Pinal County resident, would like to know, what are the rules on freezing taxes on our residents? Isn't that what you were just checking out?
Well, that's Joe Sr.
Is that a common question?
It is a common question. In fact, I should have finished a little bit on the appeal process, and then we'll get into exemptions. Yeah, if you're a senior, you can freeze your property taxes. You have to meet certain income guidelines, which means you can't make a lot of money. But you can apply for that year-round. It's called the senior exemption, and you freeze it, and you basically can go to our website, the assessor's website, pinalcountyaz.gov, go to the assessor site, and you can download the form, and you can file it with the county. And if you meet all the requirements, and I don't have them all, the exact income requirements off the top of my head.
Can you get an exemption if you look really old?
No,
I mean, I don't, but I'm just curious. I know a few people who look.
Joe Sr. has a question.
You need to bring in your 2012 taxes.
Yes, you have to bring in a tax return to prove your income level to meet the criteria, and you did all that this week.
Yeah, I didn't file yet.
All right. So you can hear Joe.
He waits till 11:59.
He's in the deep background here in the cave, so he's sometimes hard to hear when he adds his comments. But yes, if you're a senior, 65 is how you're defined, even though at 79, Joe looks as young as anyone else here in the county. He qualified a long time ago, but you never went in and did it.
I've done it.
Oh, okay. So you've done it before, so you're just going to do it again.
I'm going to do it again.
All right.
I'm wearing my rubber nose and my flake glasses.
So you can get and bring in your tax return and your fake.
Right. I only made $13
there you
last year.
And your fake driver's license that says you're 79.
It's funny.
Now,
I made $13 last year, but on the way out of the tax office, I lost a $20 bill on the floor. So I feel like I'm -7 for the year. Is that right?
Is that really? I got swept up very quickly by the government.
I mean, it wasn't there when I looked.
Okay, so anyway, the senior exemption, you can do it anytime. Go to the website. We also have the widow's exemption. There's some other things in there that you may be able to take advantage of.
Can I ask a serious question on write-off?
They're all serious questions.
They really are. Can you write off those breathe right nose strips if you have a tendency to snore a lot on planes and you're flying to business? Can you write that off?
Well, that would be a federal income tax problem, not a property.
Maybe you'd know.
You can always try and then get in an argument with the IRS. They're very friendly
but
people.
Not toenail polish, right?
Probably not toenail polish.
Okay, all right.
No, that's going to go because that's going to be considered.
I was given the right info then.
Probably. If you said it was necessary for your business to continue, you might be able to write it off. But I don't know. Anyway, so April 26th is the deadline for filing your appeal. So you got your notice of value. If you think it's correct, good. If you think it's too high, that your property is valued too high, file an appeal with our office. It costs you nothing. It's free. And then what happens is we will respond with a postcard saying we got your notice that you're filing a claim. And by August, and I can't think of the date off the top of my head, but in August we will send you, by then, that's our deadline, a written response to your claim. Now, I want to warn everybody, about 95% of them get turned down, and here's why. And this is not because we want to turn them down, because we don't care. In the assessor's office, we're not worried about taxes. What we're worried about is getting the assessed value properly, getting it right. Since we don't visit every property, you are aggregated into a large group of properties nearby that are like for like. So some people have, maybe really nice countertops and all that. That doesn't factor into this at all. So why they turn out mainly because about 20% of all the transactions that happen in the county are don't go through the MLS system. Okay, 20%. There's private sales. There's bank sales. Sometimes they don't get recorded through the system, the MLS system. Therefore, a lot of times the average person who's out there working maybe with a realtor is going to get the wrong impression of what their current values are. And so that's why it's usually wrong. Now, if we have square footage wrong or we have the lot area wrong, obviously we're going to fix that. We want to know about those things.
Is this a common thing for people that do appeals? Marion quickly called in when you start talking about appeals and said her family did an appeal, didn't pay for a little bit, but then found out that they were actually undervalued because somebody came out to their property. Does that happen a lot? You
Not very rarely.
Do an appeal and they go out and it's twice as much? No?
Very rarely. Extremely rare, actually. It's most of the time it's the other way, but we have very little. We don't miss too often, is what I'm trying to say. About 5% of the time, we're wrong.
Well, I didn't think you were ever wrong, but
well, no, I mean, I
was wrong thinking that.
But mistakes do happen. I'll tell you what. We had one person that called in last week, had gotten their notice of value, and we had the wrong square footage. It was right on.
Wow.
So, obviously the valuation is going to be wrong because it's a calculation that's done per square foot and so on. And so we fix that immediately. And we can do that, within actually 10 minutes. We just put it in our system and fix it. So you want to get all this done before August. If you're not happy with the response you get in August, you can then meet with one of our appraisers physically at Florence. We can set up a hearing time. You can come in. You get about 15 minutes to present your evidence, and we can see if we've made a mistake. If we have, we'll correct it. And up to this point, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no fees for meeting with us and so on. Now, if you're still not happy, you can go hire an attorney, and you can have them represent you in the court system and file an appeal that way. And we have staff that meets with that, and the county attorney has staff that's set up to meet with those. And most of the time, the stuff that goes in the judicial side are the larger landowners, as you might expect. The developers and people who have 1,000 acres, and they think that, your per acre is off or whatever it is. And so we think that process then goes on. You have until December 15th of next year to file those. I think the 15th pretty sure that's the date. If you decide you exhaust the two free ways to appeal, then you want to hire an attorney and go through the process that way, you can do that. So that's how it works, and we hope to have a little more clear path on our county assessor's website to show you that, so that you can see, okay, and when you should appeal. I think it's real important to, so you make there's a good clear case. A lot of folks get, I'm not going to say conned, but they might get persuaded to use a tax rep firm, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're within their perfect rights to help them prepare their appeal to our office before they go to the judicial route. You're more than welcome to do that, but you have to be careful, because once again, there's a lot. I'm telling you, we got about a 95%, that we don't offer a change in valuation. So, just fair warning. We'd love to help you. We don't care what the taxes are. We only care about getting the valuations right, because my oath of office is to fairly and equitably value all the property in the county. So I just wanted to take the opportunity, since we'll be off the air the next 2 weeks, Joe traveling south to Costa Rica to meet with the El Jefe, the president down there, and they're talking taking over the government, and it'll be KQC.
I've got to go pick up my diplomatic immunity when I leave here.
There you go. It will no longer be Costa Rica. It'll be Costa KQCK Live. A new country will be formed, and it'll be an international crisis.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Next thing you know, they'll be threatening the United States with,
No, we won't.
Nuclear tequila.
We want
peace.
Like that. Only peace.
Only peace. Okay, it's a very peaceful place. Actually, they don't have a standing military under their constitution.
Right.
Yeah, they're one of the few countries in the world where the Constitution says they shall not have a standing military. So,
right.
It's kind of a unique place. So I'm looking forward to going out and visiting Joe when he's got his beachfront villa set up and having a little. Do they surf there, Joe? That's the key.
It's the second best surfing in the world.
Oh my God! Really?
Second best.
Now here, I was under the impression it was at the other place. Begins with a B.
Where?
Begins with a B. Right down by.
Belize?
No, Belize. Yeah, I thought Belize was the surf.
Costa Rica's better.
No kidding. Now Pacific.
I've been to Belize. You've been to Belize, right?
I've never been in anywhere in South America, south of Mexico City. So
they've got some big waves, but
so is it on
Belize is phenomenal scuba.
Pacific side, or is it on the Atlantic Gulf side?
It's both. Where I'm going is Pacific.
But that's where the surfing is.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So we have about 10 minutes left in the hour. If you have any questions on property taxes, I'll be glad to take them. 480-745-1033. Sorry, I don't have the exact specific dates, but you get the idea that I can tell you the 26th is your cutoff for the mail-in to file your appeal for mail-in. And then we'll respond to you by August. And then if you go the government route, I should say the judicial route, then you have till December 15th. So those are your options. So Board of Supervisors, I want to just finish on that a little bit so you understand how it works. A lot of folks wonder how this thing, they don't record them, video broadcast them like we do here at KQCK Live, so you can watch them at any time. You have to actually physically attend to see them. You can always read the minutes, and you can read what's going to be on the agenda a week before the meeting. They have a deadline. You can see what's going to be discussed. And the way it works is at 9:30 in the morning on Wednesday, every other week. This is the week they have their public session, and they have working sessions in between. Next Wednesday they have a working session. You can come down there, and for the first half hour, comment on anything you want to talk about. So we always have a very colorful array of people between 9:30 and 10 who are kind of the regulars that go down and bloviate and make their political statement, basically, before the real business of the board starts at 10 o'clock. However, it's a great thing because it's a free country. It's free speech. Everybody gets a chance to have their opinion heard. And if you have something that's going on, you should go down there and talk. Now, one of the things that came up yesterday, our friend Jack Malpass was there, and he spoke about the Santan Regional Park. And for those who don't know, the regional park that's on Hunt Highway, and I can't think what the crossroad is where you drive in.
Ellsworth.
No, it's not Ellsworth. It's not. This
Is
south
it Cloud?
South of Santan Flats.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Isn't that Cloud or Empire? One of those.
It's south of the first big.
It's close.
Okay.
Right up in that area.
Up in that area. Anyway, you take a right and you go west, and it's a nice park.
Right.
It's got a lot of things going. If you've ever hiked it, it's beautiful. It's run by Maricopa County.
Right.
And the reason they run it is because I think we don't have our own parks department in the county because it's very expensive to have a parks department. It was really what it comes down to.
Isn't Brian Martin working on that?
Well, I don't know where it's in the process. They're talking about taking it over and back into Pinal County. That was the discussion that Jack Malpass brought up, as urging the board, take this back as a resource that we control. Although it's not like it's not open to anybody in Pinal. Anybody can go up there and enjoy the park. But they want to get, I think, a park authority or something that...
I was thinking of doing that.
Parking?
Going out and park.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
At the park.
Yeah. It's quite a place. If you haven't been there, folks, this is the time of year you want to go hike it because...
Just watch for snakes.
There was the next thing I was going to bring. We've got into snake season.
I've been seeing loads of them.
Yeah. They're all over. Joe is a herpetologist expert, knows everything about those sorts of things, that creepy and crawlies. And you've seen a lot around your property?
I saw two the other day together.
Oh, going out for a walk, were they?
Just going for a walk.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, and they're not dangerous unless you step on them or put your hand by them, right?
And a lot of times, what you have to be concerned about is now they're getting comfortable enough because of the amount of homes going in where they're not rattling these days. So when they used to give you the alerts when you it's a rattlesnake, stay back. They're not doing that anymore. So dogs are apt to step on them, and when you step on one, they bite the crap out of you, and you're pretty much in trouble.
But you're likely not to die.
Well,
if you go to a hospital and get the shot.
Pinal County, we are lucky to have the one neurotoxic, deadly snake here in Arizona in this county, and that's called the Mojave rattlesnake. It has a slightly green hue to it. They are very, very dangerous. They're about 1 in 3 to diamondbacks. So you do see them a lot. They look similar to diamondbacks, but they have greenish, and the end of the tail doesn't have solid bands that go around. The end of the tail still has white and black, but the bands are cut. So I don't recommend messing with any rattlesnakes.
Well,
but
okay.
Mojaves are very dangerous.
This brings up a question. If I'm at the Santan Regional Park and I happen to run across one of these,
just leave it alone.
But what if I get bit? What happens?
If you get bit, you want to just calmly take yourself to, I would say, Banner.
Okay.
Go to Banner on Ironwood, and hopefully they can take you, or they're going to aerobac you to somewhere else. But you would think in Pinal County, you would think that Banner would have that kind of technology, and I do believe they do. I don't know if they have the antivenoms in stock, but
maybe when we get back on the air in a couple of weeks, we can have someone from Banner let us know.
I have poison control. They come in every year. Banner sends them in, and I'll try to get them to come in during your show because that's a great topic to go over.
Yeah, because it does happen.
Because this time of the year, we've got Gila monsters, which are very, very dangerous. We've got over 20 different varieties of rattlesnakes. Here in Pinal County, we have about 7 or 8. We've got the deadly. We've got black widows. We've got a multitude of scorpions. There's a lot of things.
Why do people live in the desert, really?
It's a very good question.
Yeah. Because
and I've been bit by almost all of them.
Including this dangerous one?
The Mojave. No, I stepped on a fang once that was on my AstroTurf patio, and it was dry for 4 or 5 days, so I got a mild reaction, but it wasn't a fully blown,
You've been
wet
bitten by
bite.
a rattlesnake?
No.
A diamondback?
No, never.
Oh, okay.
But I've been bitten by the rest of the gamut, scorpions and the black widows, that kind of stuff.
Black widows really can be
They
nasty.
suck, yeah. They hurt.
Yeah.
Brown recluse.
And
once.
The brown recluse can kill you.
Yes.
That one, right? I've
got bit by that one time.
Yeah. They're nasty. Well, hopefully when you go out to the park, you're not going to have that experience. But that was one of the things that was brought up. So I'm not sure where the process is with that, if they're going to take it over from Maricopa County. If anyone knows who's out there, 480-745-1033, you can call in. Just let us know if you know something about what they're trying to do, because I was busy talking. I just heard it over the background. But anyway, so Jack got up and spoke about that as part of the open forum part of the show, or part of the show. I'm sorry, part of the Board of Supervisors hearing. And so you are welcome to always to go down there and make your point heard on any topic that has to do with the county, and just about anything. People do talk about some unusual things, as you might expect in a public hearing. So that was on yesterday. Okay. And then the budget process goes on for another 2 months. The county budget runs from July 1 to June 30. So this is what they call the preliminary budget planning, and that'll be voted on probably end of May, middle of June, and then that'll be adopted for the next year, and the tax rate that'll be adopted for paying for it. So go ahead, Joe, we had a caller.
Terry from AJ says, "Is it true that you suck out the venom if you get bit?" And as you know, it depends where you get bit. But no, that's not a good idea. Sucking out the venom could envenomate yourself, but they have little kits. Some people say you slightly cut the wound and squeeze it out and all that to try to get a little of the venom out, but it goes into your blood so quick that you just need to get to a hospital.
Okay, so there really is no benefit to try to evacuate it in the field.
From what I understand, no. I mean, if you've got venom dripping out of it, heck, I'd squeeze it, but you don't want to agitate.
No tourniquets, though.
No, you don't. From what I understand, you don't want to do tourniquets. Those are old school techniques.
Okay, so there you are, everybody.
But I could be wrong.
Here we are in the Pinal Power Players show. You find out the snakes are stronger than man, so you want to make sure if you get bit, you get to the hospital. Most people get bit on the hand, I read, because they're reaching into something, and has that been your experience, Joe?
Or on the foot, they step on them.
Yeah.
And they reach around perfectly to get people in the calves or in the thigh or in the bottom of the leg usually.
Because now, do they bite animals too? Like if
they do.
A horse is out there?
I've had deer die from rattlesnake bites. And they step on them. It's a natural reaction.
Yeah, so they just
swam.
Yeah, they let them happen.
And one bite, the limb turns black, gets real big, the animal dies within a couple of hours.
Wow. But can you save a horse if it gets bit?
I don't have a clue.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, the horse he said is out there. I was curious because horses are kind of expensive, or cattle.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if they bite a cow or something, that's expensive too. If you've got cattle out there,
right?
I've always kind of wondered about that. What do you do? Because of course, now snakes react to the ground sound, right? I mean, they recognize the vibration.
Heat signatures, vibrations.
And if you got a bunch of cattle out there, they're going to hear them coming. They're
not going to want to be near them.
Yeah, the snakes are going to vamos, right?
Yeah, just the step on them, it's like get off me, and that's their natural reaction to bite. So.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple minutes left in the show, and what I want to do is just remind everybody one of our sponsors, Reach Barrier. It's still been very nice here, but I put in the Reach Barrier for your insulating your home to keep the heat out, and we've already noticed a difference in just because the days are still getting hot, 85 here or thereabouts. It'll be today. So my wife and I have already noticed that the air conditioner doesn't run near as much with this new barrier we put up. I've got it in my garage. The last project I'm going to do, there's 3 pieces. You can do your attic, you can do your garage door, and you can do your water heater. And I really want to get the water heater done soon because I know that's going to be very effective, and that's what most people start, and you can put it on yourself.
Do you turn your water heater during the summer to vacation because it saves money? From
Actually,
I
do.
Arizona?
Yeah, because you're in Arizona because you don't have to turn on the hot water to take a hot shower.
That's right.
In the middle of August. So yeah, I think that's one of the great money-saving things too. And the barrier, supposedly, Reach Barrier will keep the heat off of it.
Gotcha. There should be a cold water generator, right, for Arizona?
Yeah, there should be because it's one of those places. But anyway, you can save on saving money. ReachBarrier.com, and they're just. I've been very impressed with them so far. I'm not paid. We're not a paid announcement. We're just letting everybody know that save energy with their products, and I think you'll find them easy to install. I didn't do my attic myself. I had their team do it. They were in and out in a day, and it was really great. So next week we will be off the air, and the week following. And I'm sorry to everybody, just to remind you, we were going to have on Jill today. Scheduling problems, she won't be on until May 9th. Remind everybody that the Lincoln Day dinner is this Saturday. If you want to join the group of us, there should be a couple hundred people there. The number is 480-655-5364, 480-655-5364. And that's Clara Davis who will take your call and help you get set up for that. And then Kids Day, April 27th. That's a Saturday, 9 to 1. If you're interested in having a booth down there, 480-882-2242.
And let's not forget about the biggest annual astronomy night that CAC has ever had.
Yeah, go ahead.
This Friday. It's going to be fantastic.
This coming Friday?
This coming Friday.
I thought it was Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
Friday.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Okay, you know what?
Today's Thursday.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's Friday then.
Friday.
Tomorrow night? It's tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night 6, yeah. It's in the paper.
Yeah, it's tomorrow night.
Okay.
See, I saved you from going the wrong night.
Yeah, because I'm planning on going. So it's CAC, everybody that's west of Coolidge, and you just go out. I can't remember the highway name, but you go down there. It's fabulous.
It is going to be amazing too.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to have this big meteor shower that's coming up.
Well, you know what else is happening out there? They've got all original Star Wars and Star Trek props, including the lightsabers, Darth Vader's lightsaber, all kinds of neat stuff. So they just came in from the show before you and brought them in and showed us, so I got to have a sneak peek at them.
So we got the kids thing for Star Wars and us old Star Trekkie fans, right?
Right.
And then they've got the
Beam Me Up.
There we go, Beam Me Up, Scotty.
And they brought that into the what is it called? The Beamer?
Really?
I forgot. Yeah, flip it up. Beam Me Up.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, Joe Senior's got an astronomy night. Here we got it before we go off the air. Friday, April 12th, and that's at 6 p.m. It starts. So that will be at Signal Peak Campus, which is 8470 Overfield Park Road. So that's just west of Coolidge. You get west of Coolidge, you can't miss it. Lots of signs to CAC. Well, I'm sorry we didn't have our guest today, but that's our hour is up. I want to thank everybody who called in and the people who were on the chat. And we'll be on in 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks, right? Because the next 2 Thursdays will be on. And we'll be back with some interesting...
We'll be back with bells on.
We'll be back with a powerful Pinal Power player. I'm Douglas Wolf, your Pinal County Assessor and host. Have a great weekend. God bless Pinal County. God bless America. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, you know what? Didn't you have one more thing to add to
what
into
did we
that?
Forget?
Huh?
What did we forget?
I was just trying to remind... Isn't there a birthday you wanted to bring up?
No, my birthday's passed. I don't know.
All right. Well, that was it. I was just making sure.
Okay, great.
All right.
See you tonight at Nortons.
Listen, watch, chat, and interact. Become part of the Pinal Power Players Show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to noon. Join me, your host, Douglas Wolf, right here on KQCK Radio.